Countdown to EVO series, day 1. So it's officially 9 days before I leave for Las Vegas to attend the Evolution World Championship Series. This will be my 3rd year going. This year I'll be competing in Injustice Gods Among Us like I did last year, and Killer Instinct. Overall preparedness, I don't really feel all that ready. Well, with the tools that I have to work with. So far, Injustice is going to be my strongest game, definitely coming out of the gate. And Killer Instinct, I like the game. I don't expect to do very well at it. And it's definitely the game that pisses me off the most. But it mainly could be just because of the fact that I don't know that game as well as I do Injustice. And even with Injustice, there's still a lot for me to learn. I've fought and trained and been trained by some of the best, absolutely. Kinetic Orochi, considered one of the best Green Lanterns out there, and obviously, since that's the character I use, Perfect Legend, Darth Arma, fantastic. Forever King, Playing to Win, Wound Cowboy, a lot of these guys, I play with them as often as I can. For a good 3 or 4 weeks before Top of the Food Chain, I was almost convinced that the only thing that was holding me back was my character. Green Lantern has very good damage, but he's not very fast, and he has a lot of bad matchups. But what I saw with Gross at CEO this past weekend made me think otherwise, that Green Lantern is hands down one of the best in the game. You gotta be patient, and anyone that knows me, patience is not one of my strong suits. Optimizing my combos for damage is definitely a must. I feel that I've gotten substantially better with that. I can kill off 2 touches at this point. Orochi and I were discussing today that one of the things also that could be impeding me is the fact of the TV that I play on is not an ASUS monitor or BenQ, which is what is primarily used in tournaments. They're completely lagless. Where my TV does have a good amount of lag to it. Well, I wouldn't say a good amount of lag, but definitely your standard amount of lag that would come from like store-bought large TVs. It's a 55-inch flat screen LCD TV. I mean, it's excellent TV, and it's definitely served me well, and it's what I've played on, especially with Injustice, since day 1. So, me, totally, I don't really notice a transition in lag from playing with monitor to monitor. The same way I don't really feel a transition hopping from system to system. Like, a lot of people, like, oh, this is on PS3. I don't play on PS3. It's like I only play with the 360 pad, or oh, I only play with the PS3 pad. To me, it's always been the same amount of buttons. The controls are exactly the same. The button placement, for the most part, is exactly the same. Just the placement of the analog sticks is different, and that's only with one of them. I've never really had that issue. Like, I can hop from one to the other almost seamlessly. It doesn't really matter what system I play on or what controller I use. But a lot of that doesn't really seem to matter anymore, at least in the controller department, now that this right here pretty much works on every single game system I own. Works on Xbox One, Xbox 360, it works on PlayStation 4, it even works on PlayStation 3. Like, the only thing I don't have that thing modded for yet is the Wii U, and what would be the point, right? I've recognized my worst matchups, or at least the matchups I have the hardest time with, and have been trying desperately to work on those, but when 95% of the time the only outlet I have to work on those matchups is playing online. I am kind of one of those believers where playing online can actually hinder your performance, especially in Injustice, because the online is terrible. I do get several playable matches, but none of them play like they're right there next to you. So that definitely makes a big, big difference. But a lot of the times, that's all I really have available to me, that in training mode, which training mode is very useful. It helps me get those hard-to-land combos down. But I can only stick it out in training mode but for so long. Overall goal for Injustice. I was this close to making it out of my pools last year. I lost by a missed input, and I got thrown, and I lost to Delrak, who was one of the testers for the game. I haven't really heard much of him at all since EVO, other than like being a commentator, so if he's still playing, I don't really know. I have fought and beaten a lot of well-known players, but I need to beat them where they matter, and that's in tournament. Something that, whether it be tournament nerves or the so-called skill gap, I've yet to be able to do. So ultimately, make it out of pools, top 8, if not win the whole damn thing, because you will be hard-pressed to find maybe more than a small handful of people that know this game as well as I do. And if I go over there and don't make it out of pools again, I really don't know what it is I'm going to do with myself. I may very well snap. Killer Instinct is going to need a lot of work. I can't do manuals to save my life. For those of y'all that are new to fighting game terminology and all that stuff, with Killer Instinct you have auto doubles and then you have manuals. Auto doubles kind of are self-explanatory. You hit the button whenever you feel like hitting the button, and it hits twice. A manual has precise timing, and it only hits once. So they're harder to break, but don't do as much damage. Autos, easier to break, more damage. As far as characters go, a lot of people thought me playing Fulgor at Civil War was really cool, being that he was brand spanking new. As much as I like Fulgor, I'm going to be sticking with Jago for the duration until EVO is over with. And after that, I may consider going back to Fulgor. I like Fulgor because he requires you to play smart. You can't just go willy-nilly with him and expect to do good. He is hard to use, and that's actually why I kind of like him. I don't really know what else to say about Killer Instinct other than that's going to require a lot of practice, and it is definitely my secondary game, because heading over to EVO, I will have an Xbox 360 with me, but I won't have an Xbox One, so while I am there, unless there's casual setup somewhere, I won't have an outlet to practice Killer Instinct while I'm there, where I will have an outlet to practice Injustice. But I don't want to keep these any longer than maybe like 10 minutes, and I'm coming up on the 10-minute mark. So, day 1 of the EVO vlog. Tomorrow is Killer Instinct training. Yay. And as much as I badmouth that game, I do like the game. It's very infuriating sometimes. Injustice is going to be my big bet, though. So, I don't know if I'll make another one tomorrow, but I will definitely make another vlog countdown to EVO style before the week gets out. So, thank you everybody for watching. Good night.